The following is a special presentation of KDOW. Money Pulse. Monitoring the heartbeat of money. From Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet. Now here's your host, Dennis D. Young.
All right. Welcome to the Money Pulse, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm joined by Dave Charest of Constant Contact. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Dennis D., great to be here with you. Thanks for the opportunity.
We're excited to see you again. The last time we saw you was, when was that? Small Business Expo 2025.
Small Business Expo. We were talking about that a little before we got on the air here. And I was like, it seems like forever ago. So good to see you again.
Very good to see you. Yeah.
So, Constant Contact itself is a platform. It's a software as a service, if you will. So our customers pay a monthly fee to access our tools, which allow them to essentially help them create content, share their message with their people, primarily through email and other channels that they have available to them from a marketing perspective, like manage their social media and text marketing, but then also just manage their contacts and their leads, right? So they're able to communicate with those people that are important to them. I think, at the end of the day, our mission really is to provide them with the tools, marketing tools, so they can compete against their larger competitors, so they can, reach their customers and start to grow their business. And so whatever that means for them, we like to help them throughout that journey, right, wherever they are in their marketing spot.
Right. And so a lot of people will be really hesitant, like, oh gosh, do it myself, use my own words to communicate, send a creative out that I created. Yeah. Oh, geez. I understand that's a lot of pressure for sure, but you guys do make it pretty easy, don't you?
Yeah, we really do. The goal here is, I always talk about kind of our primary customer, right? And when you think about it's a business owner first, marketer by necessity, right? You don't necessarily have a marketing degree. You don't necessarily know exactly what to do. Right. And the tools are built so you don't need to hire a whole team to kind of figure them out, right? And so we have templates available to you. Of course, the platform now has some AI components embedded throughout the platform to help you think of the content that you can create. So, for example, you mentioned that. Right? You mentioned, right, like, okay, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to say, and really what it boils down to is really being able to say, like, okay, if you know what you want to do and when you want to do it. So for example, all right, I'm going to have a sale on this date. We have actually parts of the program that you can go in and just put in your goal, tell it what you're trying to do, and it will actually generate a multi-channel campaign for you. And it'll create what those emails are. It will create what those social posts should be. And if you're using any other parts of the platform, it will give you recommendations there. And it'll actually build all that stuff for you. And then you can go in and make your edits, right, where you need to do things. But I'm a big believer in, as a former small business owner myself, and you can often get stuck in that, I don't know, is it ready? Is it not ready? Right. And so it's always better to do something to do nothing, I think. And so when you can get those pieces that get you over the, I'm not sure where to start phase, and you have something to react to, then you're one step closer to actually sending the thing, which will actually get you a result, right? Which is much more important than not doing anything, which will get you no result, right? And I think that's oftentimes getting out of your own way and getting you closer to taking that action and sending the thing, right? So you can get people thinking about your business and coming back to you.
Right. So, I know a lot of small business owners, they fall down that rabbit hole of, oh, this color red doesn't look right, or this positioning, and creative doesn't look right, or this wording is just off and I can't put my finger on it. So your AI abilities within the platform are able to kind of get those scattered thoughts in one place, put them in a space for execution. And how accurate and how much testing have you done on this? Because I've used other platforms that I've tried to get my thoughts together, which, there's a lot. There's a lot in there. And they don't come out with the exact, vision that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
How does yours look?
Well, so one of the things that ours does that's a little bit different, I think, is with some of these AI platforms, and obviously the more you use them, the better you kind of get at them. But we're trying to really kind of have it be in the background as much as possible. And so what that means is instead of having to figure out how to prompt it to get a a specific type of output, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really what we've done is simplify it. So you really just need to put a few words in there, right? I have a sale on this item that will be, available until this date. And so when you can do that, what we're doing on our side is we're building models in the background that are based on, Constant Contact has been around for 30 years. We have all this data of what we've seen works for our customers. And we try to take that and then use that to give you something that will be in a good format, right? Be written well, get your point across, have a good call to action, help you with your email subject lines, even design images for you, right? So you can put things in there. And so do all of that. So really, you don't have to worry about all of that stuff, because I think in many ways, even just using AI creates another thing you kind of have to learn how to figure out how to do, right?
Right. Or you start playing with it way too long and get lost in that. I've
Right.
had so much fun with all these new platforms and things.
And look, they're really helpful. We've seen some interesting things. Just in terms of, and I think it boils down to this. We've seen the customers that are actually applying that stuff to what they're doing, and meaning actually using AI. And I think what it's allowing people to do, again, is to get over that hump, right? And actually have something that they can do something with, versus saying, okay, I know I need to do something, but now I still need to find the time to do the thing. Well, now you can actually get the thing and then make a decision on whether or not to publish it, right? And I think that gets you over a place where now then, as I mentioned earlier, it allows you to get some results, right? And
Right.
And I think that's the big thing holding a lot of people back, is that you never get to the point where you've completed the thing, so you don't send it. And
Right.
And again, I'll say it again, right? Doing something is better than doing nothing.
Amen to that. And congratulations on your 30 years for Constant Contact. That is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
How
much.
exciting.
I've
And
just
so
celebrated my 14th year, actually. September was my 14th year at Constant Contact. Yeah.
So you started when you were like 12 years old or something.
Exactly.
Right?
Very early
amazing.
on.
So you've seen a lot of the changes, especially with the consumer behavior, how it
Yeah.
drastically changed, in recent years. You guys celebrated the 30 years. So your mission, helping the small, stand tall, helping the small businesses kind of look like a big box store.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of evolution over those years. Can you tell us a little bit about like what trends you're seeing now amongst smaller businesses that are trying to manage their marketing like in-house? Do you see any specific trends that you're observing?
Well, I think one of the things that we're seeing particularly happen right now, so we do a couple of these surveys multiple times throughout the year, and one not specifically focused on marketing, which is our most recent one, but one before that, we actually try to talk to consumers and find out how they're feeling about small businesses and just get a sense of the market. And one of the interesting things that we found is that actually, and I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I think the two biggest groups that were actually actively seeking out small businesses were millennials and Gen Z, which is really interesting, right? Because you would think that's opposite, right? And what it was is that what we're being told is that these are groups that are really being conscious of where they're spending their money, and they would rather spend it with a small business in their local community where they know where the money goes and shares similar values that they have, right, than spend it with the big corporate machines. And so there's a huge opportunity here, what we're seeing for small businesses to do, which is really lean into what makes them small, right? And I think what's one of the interesting things is like, yes, you have the tools, you want to look professional, but you also don't want to strip away the thing that makes you unique. And so what we're seeing is the businesses that actually lean into their personalities, lean into the relationships, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so the things that you can do to stay connected to your customers and really, again, keep your business top of mind is what really this boils down to at the end of the day. If you can keep your business top of mind when they're ready for what it is that you offer, or if somebody asks them, hey, you know somebody that does such and such, they're going to think of your business first. And this is ultimately at a really, tiny level of like just thinking about what does it mean to market. This is what it means. Stay in front of the people that are interested in hearing from you. And that leads to, again, people feeling connected, feeling part of the community, feeling, sharing values that you may share with your potential customers or your existing customers. And really just being focused there. So again, you're top of mind when they're ready to buy from you.
Yeah, you hit on so many good points there. And because you emphasize action, over
Mhm.
perfection, like let's do something instead of nothing. What's your encouragement to, our small, medium business owners, even listening now? Like, what's their first step? How do they take that first step into that scary space? Tell me all
Yeah,
about what you do.
yeah. I think the first thing to recognize is that, um, really think about what do you do face to face, right? Like if you wouldn't do it face to face with someone, don't do it online, right? Like, and so
Good
just think about
point.
that. Just as just an opportunity to connect with people in a different way, and a lot of times it depends on the nature of your business, right? And so if you're a brick and mortar store, you're just using online as a way to really stay in touch with those people who aren't physically in front of you, right? Whereas, some other businesses may be actually building their business online, which is a little bit different, and they're trying to do things the opposite way, right? Where you have these online interactions and you're trying to bring those face to face, so you can actually, create that connection and then start to build that relationship. And so, I think the big thing is figure out what's your priority, right? What is it that you're trying to do? We all have access to the same tools. Figure out what that goal is, and then figure out, okay, how do I use the tools to help me achieve that goal? And then book time in your calendar so you actually do the things, because there's so many things that you have to do as a business owner that you
Mhm.
will get pulled in many directions. And if you don't actually make the time, you're not actually going to do those things that will help you in the future. And that's what marketing is all about, marketing for future business. And so that's what I'd say. Pick your goal, decide where you're going to focus and what tools you're going to use to help you get there, and then actually put the time in the calendar to get it done.
We're going to go to a commercial break, but first I wanted to thank my friends at Greenlee's Bakery for providing original cinnamon bread. Amazing. And they're spreading joy and happiness one loaf at a time.
All right. Welcome back to the Money Pulse. I'm here with Dave Charest from Constant Contact. We're talking about small, medium businesses who may be struggling with that first step into the marketing world. He's offered some really great advice. Put a date on your calendar and do it. I love that. And now we're going to get into some of the actual tactics and things that you could do on the platform on constantcontact.com. So we talked about keeping things personal and, keeping your story relevant to the masses, so to speak. We're using different channels to raise awareness of our brands and of our companies. One question I do have that I'm curious about is automation. I know that's been very helpful in this space, but how can a small business be consistent without like losing their personal touch when they're using automation?
Yeah. Well, so that's an interesting thing that you bring up, right? Because I think people get scared when you say automation because there's something about that idea of, right, for lack of a better way to say it, right, like the technology sending a message automatically on your behalf, which
Right.
makes it feel like it is not personal. But I would encourage folks to think about it a little bit differently in the sense that actually automation, what that allows you to do is actually be more personal with someone. Because when we talk about being personal, it really comes down to being highly timely and highly relevant to the person doing something, right? So if you think of automation, it's usually triggered by someone taking some type of action, right? So let me give you an example. It could mean somebody saying, you know what, I do want to find out more information from you, and they join your email list. So they submit a form, and you have an automated welcome series ready to go. So that means if somebody joins today, 3 months from now, or 3 years from now, they're going to be greeted when they sign up, right? You start to build that relationship right away. And then maybe you have a couple of other messages behind that informing these new people who are new to your business how to even do business with you. What do you offer, right? Like, and you do this all in a very personal way, right? I mean, you still talk like you're talking to one person when you're writing your emails, but giving them the information that they need to know about in order to know how to do business with you. And so that's one way you can start to think about it. Another way you can start to think about it is, let's say, an example I always like to give, we have a customer that owns a cheese shop, and one of the things that they do is catering. And there's a link within their email that's like need catering, and so you can click on that to find more information. We have a tool within Constant Contact called click segmentation. So if somebody clicks on a link, you can add that person automatically to a list. So in our example here, this would be somebody that is interested in catering. On that list, as they get added, you can then have an automation set up there to send them more information about catering. And so what's happening is it's very timely and relevant to that person receiving it, right? And you're still writing in this tone where you're like talking to one person. Hey, I know you're interested in finding out more about our catering stuff. Here's everything that you need to know. And when, the deadlines, how soon we need to know if you want to order something, right? If you have any questions, you can reach out to us, right? But you've automated that. And so you don't have to, like, that person doesn't have to wait for you to get around to doing your email, right?
Which could be a while. Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
Right. Because look, you've got things to do. You've got other things that you'd probably rather be doing than marketing your business. Right. And so this allows you to do that. And so that's the challenge I would throw out to people is think of automation as a way to be more personal versus the other way around. And again, it allows you to kind of close that gap between, serving somebody right away with the information that they need so that they're one step closer to doing business with you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. I like your twist on that for sure, because it also is serving your customers better as well. Nobody wants to wait for an answer. That's why nobody calls anymore too. They don't want to wait for it to ring to be picked up. They want instant gratification. So that is a very smart way to put it. I like it. So Dave, do you have a podcast? Have you been doing some podcasting or something? Be a marketer, or what was that I saw?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Constant Contact, I host a podcast for Constant Contact. It's called Be a Marketer.
Okay.
And the premise is really, of course, being a small business owner, you have to be many things to make your business go.
All the hats.
And one of those things, of course, is whether you like it or not, you also have to be a marketer. And the idea is you don't have to do that alone. And that's where Constant Contact comes in. Constant Contact has, as we've mentioned earlier, been around for 30 years. And one of the key things that we've always tried to do is educate and help small businesses understand what it is that they need to do or what they should be thinking about in order to help them make progress with whatever their goals are with their business from a marketing standpoint. And so this is just another tool. We've talked to tons of, we're up to about, I think, what is today? Today's Thursday. So today, I think episode 100 and something or so came out, and 120 actually. And
wow.
So we talk with Constant Contact customers, and we hear kind of their stories. And these are your everyday types of businesses, not your, the big metas or the big tech companies. These are the folks that are doing the real local community stuff and have been successful at it. And we talk to them about their journeys and their stories, and then what they actually do to market their business, even when marketing's not their thing, right? And then how kind of Constant Contact helps in there. And so we also invite on experts as well to talk about their stories, because many of these folks have their own businesses as well. And then they share their particular area of expertise. And we try to do that all in a way that is plain language, not using jargon in terms that you may not understand. And I try to do the best I can to translate some of that speak when it does come out, and offer some things that folks can take away from each episode and start to apply. Again, if you put the time aside to do it and just start to make progress and do something, my belief is if I can get you to do something and you see a result from that, maybe and hopefully you'll say, ooh, okay, that worked. What else can I do? Right. And then, okay, now you try something else. And then really it's all about that, just building on a little bit at a time and making progress and starting to see the results from that. And so, so Be a Marketer has been really great. I love it from the sense of just hearing these stories from people who have had challenges, resilience in overcoming them, and really just what their journeys have been to even starting the business, right? And so all of that stuff, I think, is inspirational in many ways for folks that may see themselves in some of the business owners that we're talking to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then know that, what, these are the things that they're doing, and it's not the what I think I've learned in all of this and through these conversations, right? Nobody is ever really talking about a hack or the trick that made them a success. It's all about doing some things consistently and focusing on being part of their local community for many reasons, right? This is one of the things that always seems to come up time and time again: being open to learning and just actually taking action and doing those things. And so it's been a great ride having these conversations with folks and sharing their stories.
Be a Marketer podcast. Dave's in charge of that for Constant Contact. And do you have a favorite story or something you could share with us that really just like stuck with you out of those hundreds of people you've spoken with?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. I mean, there's
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about this idea. So I speak on behalf of Constant Contact as well, which of course is why we met at the expo, because I was there to give a keynote address. Yep. And one of the things that I talk about is kind of this, what I call the RPE framework, and it really came out of having these conversations. And RPE stands for review, plan, execute. And so, I was recognizing some things that I was doing in my personal life and one of the goals that I had set. And I was like, wow, this really feels familiar. And it reminded me of, someone like Marianne is her name. She owns like a consignment shop in Rhode Island. And one of the things that she told us was that she really she sets up time like quarterly or whatever the exact thing is, I don't remember, but she really reviews what's going on with her business and reviews what's going on with her marketing so she can look for any areas where she might need to make changes, right? People like Nicole Stevenson, who has these creative workshops for kind of like creators, and she runs these different events and her and her team, what they try to do is once they put their plan together, they actually try to break that plan down into smaller tasks and things that will take like an hour or less, so they can actually start to, again, make progress towards those things. And then another one that comes to mind is Tamika Catchings. I don't know if this name is familiar to you, but she is a former WNBA player. She's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Catchings. And she's a former Olympic gold medalist, and she now owns, I think she's up to 3 locations in Indianapolis now, but she owns a tea shop. And so it's called
tea shop?
Yeah, tea as in like, coffee and tea.
Let's go have some teas and crumpets. Okay.
Right.
I
and so,
that.
Yeah. And so she, one of the things that she had mentioned is that you gotta schedule the time to do the things that are important to you, right? And so review, plan, execute, and that's kind of how I frame my discussion with the folks in the audience. Is really, all right, if you take a look at where you are you missing some things, right? Do you need to add some things? You likely know what they are, right?
Right.
And then if you think about what your goals are, well, we all have access to these same tools, and it's all about really figuring out what's a priority for you at this particular moment, stripping everything else away and just focusing on that, and then making a plan to help you execute. And then, then putting that time in the calendar, like we mentioned earlier, to then execute against that plan, right? And then you just repeat this process time and time again.
I'm going to need you to do a time management class next, okay? Oh, that's great. Thanks so much for sharing. I love me some good tea too. So that just made me want to go pour a cup. So what's next? After 30 years of being established, what's next for Constant Contact? Like AI and automation, you guys are already all over that. Do you have anything, upcoming features that you're excited about? What's next for you guys?
So I think the big thing right now is really looking at how we can even more so automate these pieces for our customers, right? So where you can come in, let us know what you're trying to do, and really we take care of as much of that as possible for you, so you can get back to doing those things that you'd rather be doing. And so our vision is to get to that place where you just kind of got to check in what's going on with your marketing, but we're really recommending to you, here, try this, or we've seen people that do this, get better results. Do you want to try that, right? I think it really boils down to helping them understand the things that they see, right? That they see happening. Like, so for example, when I ask small business owners, where does most of your business come from, right? And so when you start to think about what's going on, well, word of mouth now happens online. And I think that's it. Just showing you the little things that you can do that don't feel overwhelming, that feel like, okay, I can see how this can help. Just show the path, right? What does this look like? Can you do that? Does that feel doable? And as I mentioned earlier, and then if you can start to do those, you start to see, and I think you start to build that trust, right? Just like anything else. Okay, that worked. All right, now try this.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. I hate that we're running out of time. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Dave Charest from Constant Contact. You can visit them at constantcontact.com. There's so much more to unfold here, guys. Check them out. Thanks for tuning in to Money Pulse, and we will see you next week.
This has been Money Pulse. KDOW's financial news magazine, monitoring the heartbeat of money. From Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet.